Hey guys, let me get some things set up and we're going to have a quick little sewing class today. Okay, got my computer set up, everything's situated. I'm Katie Bertrand, and today we're doing a quick little project on making this cute little card holder slash wallet. It's a little magnetic snap. So as you can see, a lot of times I've got a lot of extra cards that I don't necessarily need to carry in my wallet all the time. I just threw my Sam's card in here. But all these random cards like your discount card, Kroger card, things I don't necessarily have to have in my wallet all the time. I might have a little keychain thing. I'm going to put some business cards in here. So we're going to show you how to make this today. So we did a video on making the cosmetic bag from the quilted Pioneer Woman placemat. And that is what this is made out of, but you can really make it out of any quilted material. It doesn't necessarily even have to be quilted, but it just gives it some body. So if it's not quilted, you might want to do 2 layers, have a little interfacing, but this just makes it super easy. And of course, I had to add a little monogram to mine. So let's go ahead and get started. What I did is, as you can see on the placemat, this is divided into 4 sections based on this pattern. So I kind of just use that as my guide of how wide it is. Now, measuring that, if you're not using this placemat, is just under 5 inches, so about 4 3/4. And I just cut it right down that little seam right there. And so I made one, and the outer edges already have a binding on it. So let me get you a little closer here so you can see. I'm trying to adjust this camera. I'm working with a new camera, so bear with me. But it already had this binding on it, so I figured since the first one I'm making is just for me, I just went ahead and used the binding on one that was already there. And then since it's already kind of a patchwork pattern, I just put kind of a coordinating strip on the other side. So I've got 2 different ones. So the one I'm going to make today is going to have the same binding. So you can really mix and match and do whatever you like. It can be the same, or if you already have this edge, I just figured it was already on there. Just make it a little quicker just to go ahead and use that. So I got just a fat quarter of material and cut. I'm going to open this up. Let me get you down here on the table so you can see. Zoom in a little bit. So if you're watching, be sure to say hi and share our video if you know somebody who'd like to make one. But I cut 1 3/4 inch strip of fabric. I just used the length of my fabric. I think it was about 18 inches. And then I ironed it in half. So just ironed it in half. And then I opened it up, and then I ironed my edges to that center to make this little trim right here. Hopefully you can see that good. And then that creates the binding that's going to go on the edges of it. And then as you can see, you've got 2 sides. So you can really use either side if you wanted to use all one pattern or the patchwork pattern. And what you will do is you'll take the binding, and I'm going to trim this, give it a little point, and then fold it down. I'm going to go ahead and put my binding on first, and I'm just cutting a little tab here, and then I'll fold this down. And you're just going to, essentially this is going to wrap over this. That's where we're going to do that. But what I'm first going to do is on what, I'm going to use this as my outer piece. So on the back side, I'm going to open up my facing, or my binding, sorry. and I will sew right close to where I ironed it. So it will go right in here. Let me just put a little pin here. Because that way it'll be a little easier than trying to sandwich that together. Hey Brenda. So let me get over here and check my computer screen so I can see you all a little better. Because I want to make sure that I'm zooming in so you all can see what I'm doing. So let me zoom just a little bit. Okay. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and sew this down. And I'm just opening up my binding. I'm putting right sides together. And this is where it's folded. I'm just going to sew right next to that. And I'm going to do that all the way down. And I've left a little excess because we're going to end up folding that in. Let me go ahead and do that. Belinda says she's a first timer, so she's getting her first lesson. Good. Well, Belinda, you can find the placemat from Walmart. And all the different Walmarts have different fabric supplies, so they may or may not have fat quarters. I don't know. I'm going to turn this and do the exact same thing with my other binding strip down the other side. So I'm opening this up. I'm leaving a little excess to fold down. I don't like to pin, but I'm going to just stitch right where that first fold is. Or right to the right of it, just a little bit. Now on my ends, I'm going to fold this. Just going to trim a little point like this, because then I can fold that in. Okay, so if you do this first, it makes it a little easier to sew this on the other side, especially if you're new to putting binding on. You can definitely just sandwich it in and sew it all at one time, but I think it's a little easier to hold. So now I'm going to open up the end. I'm going to tuck this in and then fold it over. Now, I do not like to use pins, but for you guys, I'm going to put a pin in there. And then you're just going to straight stitch, and you're just going to fold it over as you go down all the way down, just like this, right here. Let me go over here to the machine. Just keep that piece tucked in, and then when you get down to the bottom, we'll fold in the other end. And do a little back stitch to hold it. And I'm just folding this to make sure that I'm getting it, the stitch line covered that I just did. Before I get to the end, I'm just tucking in that other end piece, and then I'm folding it over. one side, and then we'll do the other side and fold this down, fold it in, and then fold it over. Just make sure that little excess isn't sticking out. And if you want to prep the other end, I just like to do it as I get to it. Just fold it up to the edge, and then you'll fold your binding over. You just kind of got to use your fingers to kind of get in there and hold it. And your fingernails always come in handy too to tuck it in. Okay, so I'll just pull this over and I'm going to sew that down. Uh-oh, I'm getting a low battery on my phone. Let me plug that in. Hold on. Okay, we don't want to lose battery power. Okay, so now you can see this is all stitched. The binding is on here. Now, what we will do is we need to mark, we're going to be using magnetic snaps. And I got these, I ripped open the package. But this is just from Walmart. I got it just in the craft department. So if you don't want to use the snaps, you could also use Velcro. But you want to put them on before you sew up the sides. So how you do these, there's 4 pieces here. Okay, get that out of the way. So you can kind of just gauge, let's see, let me see what I folded up on this other one. I just kind of played with it, but to be more precise. So I folded up just about 3 1/4. And I'm just going to put a pin to hold this for a second. And then we'll fold up the other side, and we're going to mark where we're going to put. So folding up, and you can kind of judge where you want to put, how far up you want to fold it. That's just where I did the other one. Looked like it was good. Okay, so for the snaps, we want them to be in the center. So this is measuring 5, and so 2 1/2. And then I would come down about 2 inches. So if there's 2 1/2. And so this right here, I've got measured, is going to be my 2 1/2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this little piece, this is the back part of the snap right here. And then I've got a little marking pin that will come off or be covered. And I'm just going to mark the little lines and the dot. So now I've got that marked right there, and we're going to cut those, the long lines, we're going to cut those open with a seam ripper. And we want to mark the other side as well. So let's see. So 2 1/2, and we want to come down 2 inches. There's 2. I'm going to lay this over it. And I'm drawing my little lines down here. Okay. now you need your seam ripper. You can unpin this. And right where you have these little lines marked, I'm going to stick my seam ripper right in the top or bottom, whichever way you're holding it, of one of them, and then just gently push that open. So if you've got a really sharp seam ripper, just be careful, you don't want to slice through it. And just gently cut that open, just a little bit, okay? And then we'll put, so this little prongs will go into the hole right here. So I'm pushing that through, and then you'll put this little metal piece on the back. I don't know if I can get it on there. And then you'll just push these down. I don't know if it matters if they go in or out, but okay, so there's one side. Now I'm going to take my seam ripper and open up the other side. Okay. And then put the other piece of the snap. And the prongs are going to the inside. Get that in there. Okay. And so this is the inside, and then we put our little backing on, and then you just press these up. They are a little tough, so you may need pliers, I don't know. Okay. Now once you fold this up, you can see how this is going to work. We'll fold it over and snap. So I think we had this folded up about 3 1/4. And I'm just going to put a little pin right here, because then we're just going to stitch up our sides and we'll be done with our little card holder. So I'm just putting a pin here to hold this. So I'm just going to run my stitch right down the sides right here, and then I'm going to do one right across the middle that just kind of gives that kind of a defined center, and we will be all finished. So if you don't want it, you know, if you don't want your pocket like that deep, you can make it a little shorter. So, and then your cards, you may stick out a little bit. It's just personal preference. Put that there, make sure I'm so, yep. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and sew right down the sides here. Now what have I done? I've unplugged my sewing machine somewhere. Hold on. Hold on, I don't have any power. Try a different extension cord. I don't know what I've done. Never fails something like this happens when you're trying to show somebody how to do something. Alright, this is just comical. Alright, 1 minute. I gotta figure out where my power source, what happened to it. I've pulled something loose somewhere. I normally don't have it plugged in over here. Let me try one more spot. Now we're back in business. I don't know what happened to my outlet. Okay, so now we're going to go and just sew down our sides right here. Sorry about that little delay. stitch. And we'll turn it and do the other side. And cut my little threads here. Take my pins out. And then I'm going to do a little sewing, a little line right through the center. Just kind of gives it a little more defined fold. Trim my threads. Trying to get all my little threads out. And there you have an adorable little card holder wallet. So you've got two sides here. Click on mine. I put the little monogram right there. So you can make it as wide, you can even do like a wider one if you wanted to be able to put dollar bills. You could possibly even put, you know, like a Velcro closure to keep this closed on the inside if you want to do that, even a zipper. But this is just a little fun, quick and easy. You can even put like your chapstick, things like that. But it looks very nice, professional, little magnetic snap right there. You've got your sides bound, and you can use any kind. You can mix and match. Like this one, I used the binding that was already on the edge of the placemat, and then just added the one side because it has the nice patchwork pattern. I think it still looks super cute. So just wanted to share this fun little project with you since we did the cosmetic bags, and then I have another project we'll probably do in a few days, making a different style cosmetic bag. So you gotta love Pinterest and all the fun things that you can find on Pinterest. And I hope you enjoyed our little video today. And if you'll share it, and maybe somebody else will be excited to make one or want to learn to sew. We do have some online sewing classes available on our website, sewcutebykatie.com, and I'll be adding more. We're also putting all of our videos, we're going to upload them to YouTube, so they'll be a little bit easier to find instead of going through all the Facebook feeds, things like that. So be sure to check out our YouTube channel as we add new little tutorials on there. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and you have a great day.